Hello everyone and welcome to the channel, welcome to the weekend video and the first June video. So I originally wanted this to be multiple videos on multiple days, but due to stuff happening, my PC crashing at some points and stuff, I basically made just one video about this on one day. Mainly because yeah, PC kept crashing and I had to redo a lot of stuff, and that delayed the video making, so I had to redo the ARM, the one I'm currently working on, and the Tiara. I basically had to do both 2 times, which meant less time for making the video. So we have the ARM, or both arms, they are asymmetrical in this case, so I'm making both individually. And the boots and the tiara or helmet thingy, whatever. Originally I wanted to go with a design that was resembling stars and stuff like that, because I just really like the whole star theme thing, so I was looking into that. But I decided then that I already have the fleur-de-lis lily thing going on, so I decided I'm going to stick with that for this outfit, and whenever I make inevitably the next Princess Knight character design, I will then do the whole cosmic planets and stars and moons and suns design. Then there is still a bit of moon design in this because I left it in because I liked it, but it is not I left the star out in this case. There's also a change. You can see the shoulder piece in the back there, or that I'm working on, and after I did a first render, I basically decided I do not like that. So I actually, after I redid the whole thing, after I redid the whole model, I rendered it and I decided I don't like the shoulder piece because it is way too big, way too heavy for the whole look, for the whole feel. So I redid that one, and you can see that in the final render as well as in the turntable at the very beginning of this section. So you can just jump back and watch that again and see that I actually did a lighter shoulder piece for that one. Yeah, there's also a little bit of chain in this because I apparently cannot go without it. Most of the other pieces are without, so yeah, it's only this one. But yeah, I struggled a bit with actually designing the whole thing, like getting good ideas for the whole design, for the whole modeling thing. And since I had to redo this, I actually copy pasted a few things. I also changed a bit over the arm that I'm currently doing. The now final version has a hinge on the outer side instead of the belt and clasp thing that I'm currently working on. Also, the belt and clasp that I finally worked with are much simpler. This one is much more detailed. Basically worked out the 2 pieces of the belt that go into the clasp, that go through the clasp, and that then close the whole thing. And in the final version I basically just did 1 piece for the belt instead of 2, and also there is no ending for the belt. It's basically just going through the clasp. Relatively simple, but it's such a small detail. If I render this at like 5000 by 5000 pixels, you would see it, but if I'm going with 1000 by 1000 or in animations, this won't be really visible. So I made a really detailed thing here, and when I redid this, I decided I'm not going to spend that much time on this small detail. Yeah, also copy pasting the fleur-de-lis here. And this is the point where actually my PC crashed. I had to redo everything from start. I saved in between, but the file just was completely empty. I have no idea why. But yeah, this is why this is cut off there. Second arm is relatively simple in comparison. I wanted to have it very light theme, very light design. First I wanted to go like an armband, like something you have around your arm. Worked a little bit with that, with just a tube, but in the end I didn't really get to the point where I was happy with how this would look. It still looked a bit too heavy for my tastes, so I changed everything up. Right now I'm still working, so I spent a lot of time working on details I didn't even use. That's gonna happen if you work in 3D, if you work in any kind of creation, creative part, you will know that this is happening more often than not. Yeah, first I decided, I thought I'm going to do this like a piece that goes around the arm that has these loops, because I wanted it to have like a chain that dangles down, or that hangs down from it and is connected. And in the end I decided I'm going to do this very simple, very easy. I'm going to just make one chain around the arm and build a second detail. At this point I wasn't even sure what I was going for. The reference material I had mostly had like a blank glove with maybe a bit of a drawing on it, or maybe a symbol on it, and I wanted to do at least a bit more detail than that. So I decided to make a chain that goes around the arm. And yeah, this is where I thought maybe I'm doing a angled piece of the chain, and then I decided I'm going to do a very simple structure and add another fleur-de-lis, so I just have it on every piece of the set. And yeah, the whole thing is relatively simple. I played a bit around with the extrusion from a tube here, from the side of the tube, and I'm really happy with how this in the end turned out. Learned a little bit about how you actually do the whole thing about the tube. Yeah, I basically built the fleur-de-lis model for every piece again. Well, not every piece, but most pieces. So yeah, they all look a little bit different from each other. Some of them are copy-pasted. For example, I copy-pasted the one from the armor to the leg as well, and the tiara actually doesn't have one. But yeah, I designed multiple, and in the end sometimes I had to redo this. For example, the tiara originally had one that I made by hand, but then the PC crashed. I had to redo the whole thing, and I went with a slightly different design that changed up the outlook of the tiara, but I'm actually happy with how this looks right now. Yeah, the legs, the final design of this is a little bit different as well. I changed the heel very slightly. It is now slightly thicker than it is in the turntable, because when I rendered this as well, I was thinking, okay, this looks just a bit too fragile. I mean, it is fantasy, it doesn't really matter because it can't break, but it just looks a bit more different. Also notice there is a slight difference in coloration to the other pieces, because I needed an additional material. The main materials of the armor, of the metal armor, is just silver and gold, and I needed an additional metal for the legs, so I basically made some crystal-like visual material. Yeah, you can see that I'm building a a new fleur-de-lis from scratch here for the legs. And then I decided I'm going to simply put in the fleur-de-lis from the original, change it up, so it's the original, but it is changed, it is altered in shape to fit the leg. I wanted this as a closing point, more or less, for the top of the boot, similar to some other boots I already made way past. But yeah, just working on a little bit of detail here. Additional detail I just took from one of the reference material I had, which I think is cool. It just adds a little bit of visual flair to the whole thing. And something I also did, reworking the boots, I copied the fleur-de-lis down to the ankle protection. Yeah, also I made the shoe from scratch, more or less, mainly because I didn't want to import yet another thing. And this worked quite well, quite easily. Really happy with how the foot actually looks. And at this point I decided, okay, I'm going to add something on top of the foot, because this looks a little bit empty, a little bit simple. So I just made another piece similar to the shoulder piece. I could have actually copied the shoulder piece here, but I thought I'm going to make an additional piece that is similar, so it fits the style of the shoulders more or less, but is on the foot. I should look into this because it bends quite weirdly when I do the pose for this. You will see this in the very end. It looks a little bit weird when I do this in the when I bend the foot and the toes. So I'll probably have to work around with the weight mapping on that one. Finally, we're looking into the tiara. Again, I had to do this 2 times, so this is the second version actually. Not the first version. The first version, I have videos for both, but since I used the second version, I'm also using the video for the second version in this case, because for this I actually made 2 videos. The other stuff I basically just made one, and then I redid it as quickly as I could. Yeah. This is basically a very simple design. It looks very weird when you have it just on the bare head of the person, because it's not sitting right on top of the head, but since there's hair getting added, sorry, I decided to go with a little bit more distance. Yeah, I'm trying to do some side piece that is reminiscent of the fleur-de-lis, like similar to what I originally had in mind. I didn't actually get to execute my completely original vision for this element on all the pieces, because I didn't really think of the way to put it until basically this point. So actually the redesign of the tiara was a good thing, because I got to the point where I had a good idea of how to do this. Also, additionally, the original tiara broke the symmetry, so I had to do both sides somehow simultaneously, and this was quite complex. And in this case, I made very sure that the symmetry was always working for the main tiara piece. And yeah, I could have maybe added more details, like an additional band, something that just opens up the color. But overall, I'm really happy with how the whole thing turned out. I will do an animation for this. I already have an idea of how the animation should look, so you will get that next week most likely, because I'm really looking forward to making this. Anyway, that's it for this video and this set. Thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys around.